So do you remember that day when I made a special video about the helicopters having a huge problem? Well, this problem is kind of back, and it's back in a much worse form after the brand new Payshot update, and I'm gonna be going through a few things that have been changed according to my video, I believe, because the developers have actually decided to buff the helicopters in some shape or form after I made that video in the new update. However, now the changes are a little bit different, and one big helicopter is probably the biggest issue for this whole entire game, and I'm gonna jump right into that in today's video. So as we know, at this current moment, the tanks are probably the most OP vehicles in this whole entire game, and really the tanks are like a counter to absolutely everything. And that's why I have decided to make the video last time about helicopters needing a buff, because they weren't not useful at all. The Gamepad's helicopter was absolutely horrible against tanks and even other planes, and now every other helicopter was also horrible at that. However, they have decided to buff the helicopters in one very interesting way, such as buffing its barrage rockets, its hydro rockets, and of course its lock-on missiles, which is actually a very smart move because now they are doing much more damage to tanks. Now, every time a brand new update is released, there are meta changes happening to the game. If you guys don't know what the word meta means, let me explain it to you real quick. It's pretty much the best vehicles or the best weapons in the game as of current moments. And I really do like the changes that Gizmotech has done to the helicopters by actually probably checking out my video of course, the barrage rockets, like the ones I'm using right now, have been buffed in damage to tanks, and same with, of course, the lock-on missiles. And by the way, this is a great change. It has made almost every single helicopter somewhat viable against tanks now if the players can play it out correctly. And that is a huge positive, and I really like how that works. However, as I said, every time a new update comes out, there are meta changes, and guess what has decided to happen in this current update? You know the little bird, the helicopter that we all love and hate. Most of us probably hate it because we don't use it, because we find it annoying, and we like to actually be able to take skill into everything we do. Well, the little bird is a perfect counter to an example of no skill against players on the ground, but also the little bird is almost impossible to hit, and now players are going ahead into abusing its hitbox. Here is an alligator, which I really am respecting this guy for using the alligator, because most people do not use this helicopter. So let me just try to take this guy down. The 3 missiles are probably not going to be enough. Yeah, now here's the thing. Helicopters that start the game off should not be helicopters that are this broken. So let me explain you guys how the little bird is probably the most annoying vehicle in the game. So as you guys can see, it is currently the smallest helicopter in the whole entire game, which is a huge problem for a lot of players, and I'll explain you guys why. Because most of the weapons that actually used to take skill in this game used to be tank cannons, and that's the thing. The little bird, first of all, has a very weird hitbox that the cannon shot can in fact go through the little bird, which is one very annoying thing for the tank users or even the ground vehicle users. But another thing, the little bird is pretty much impossible to hit once it gets 1000 stats around, kind of around you, but it's like very far away from you, if that completely makes sense. Another thing which I have a problem with is the fact that the little bird now already did have hydro rockets, but now the hydro rockets actually do more damage, and the hydro rockets do have a lot of better area damage, meaning that it's actually good for infantry. And I like the fact that the little bird is good for infantry, but I do not like the fact that the little bird also does a lot more damage now with even its machine gun, which is something I realized in this current update. It is now able to shred the tanks in a much quicker way, and so same with the other ground vehicles. And could you explain to me, what can a normal ground vehicle that doesn't have any cannon shell, no lock-ons or anything, be able to counter the little bird? They just have to have perfect predictions, which I completely understand. It's kind of a skill thing. However, the little bird did not have to be buffed the way it was, and I believe that if they really wanted to change the helicopters, they should make the bigger helicopters that are somewhat easier to hit, much more powerful. Therefore the fights will be balanced, because let's say if I'm attacking somebody from this height, let's just say we are most likely not going to get hit unless a skilled tank player will be able to get a lucky shot. And what you hear right now, yes, what I did mean it, a skilled tank player getting a lucky shot. Most of the tanks players who are skilled get a shot based on skill. However, with a little bird, you really have to get lucky if you want to be able to kill it. Like, let me just try to kill this guy with a little bird, which I hope I'm actually hitting him, because if I wouldn't be hitting him, that would be very annoying. Oh yeah, there he goes. Yeah, the little bird does do very good damage, and I believe I was not even hitting all of my shots here. But the point is, this helicopter is probably the most problematic thing in the game as of this current moment, simply not being able to get taken out by vehicles on the ground. However, it does have even one bigger issue. It might even be the best dogfighter as of this current moment, and you know that sounds very stupid, however, in reality, it is. Most of the plane players do like to rely on, of course, lock-on missiles, which I'm talking about the average player, and I'm not talking about the most skilled players, I'm talking about the average ones. They love to use the lock-on missiles while they are using the planes. However, now the little bird is kind of also a perfect counter to the lock-on missiles. Pretty much all they can do, go into hover mode, press G, and they just sit there until the opponent wastes all of the lock-on missiles, and then that's pretty much it. And knowing that the little bird has one of the smallest hitboxes in the game, it's going to be absolutely impossible to hit it in the sky while you are using your main gun with, of course, a plane. However, another issue is what the little bird players love to do, since they are impossible to hit. They also love ramming right into you, and knowing that most of the skilled players who love to get their kills based on skill, of course, they really hate getting deaths from this. And I mean, this is kind of a very picky video on the helicopters, and I really do want the helicopters to change. I want them to become better, and I want them to become much more fun to use as well. However, helicopters like the little bird makes it unfun for every helicopter player to be able to fight them. Same with ground vehicle players like tank players, but also players who are fighting in the sky with the plane. Anyways, jumping into another issue which I also have with the little bird as a helicopter, just look how many parts it takes up. It's one helicopter part each, and these helicopter parts, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, but they regenerate the fastest out of any other vehicles in the game. Just have a look at how fast this regenerates. I believe one helicopter part each will be able to regenerate in around 1 minute or so, which is actually absolutely quick compared to the tanks and all that stuff. And honestly, for such power that the little bird possesses, first of all, it doesn't really have a task, so you guys don't have to grind for it. It's easily obtainable. And another thing, of course, it's hitbox, which I mentioned. It's firepower, and mainly how fast you guys can actually get it back after it gets killed. So you can just infinitely spam this helicopter and you'll be absolutely fine. And that's also another issue which I have. And by the way, I do not understand why they actually removed the Land Rover from the game and they do not decide to remove something like the little bird, which actually, I'm gonna be honest, it's not gonna make people as happy. Like, if the little bird was to get removed from the game, let's say, I know people would be way more happy than they would be mad. It's only those toxic people who just love spamming the little bird would be very angry about it. But other than that, everybody would just be happy that this helicopter would get removed. So let me know in the comment section down below, in fact, do you think this helicopter should get removed? Do you think it should stay in the game? Do you think it should be harder to obtain, harder to use, and all that stuff? Like, I want to hear your guys' suggestions, because we can make a change together, and it's all about you guys. It's actually your idea to make this video, and I really do appreciate the people commenting in the comment section for me to make this video, because I also experienced this issue. Even though as much as I love the helicopters, I believe the little bird definitely needs to have some kind of change for it to not to be as OP, and the other helicopters should be made better as they were made in this current update. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys in today's video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think again, and yeah, that's all I have for you. Make sure to subscribe and notification bell on to not miss out any more informative videos just like this one, and yeah, I'll see you later, guys. Bye bye.